أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. My dear brothers and sisters, today I would like to talk about the Muslim Student Association and a little bit about my history with the organization in general and few advices if I could. First of all, alhamdulillah, when I first came to this country, I didn't feel like I specifically belonged to specific masjid. The way I was conducting myself, I was a hyper person, just too much excitement, and I guess I didn't fit into that humble setup that the masjid had. So I kind of stayed away. Soon I joined the college life, and the first thing that I ended up joining was the Muslim Student Association, and we're just like all youngsters getting together, alhamdulillah, praying together. And I was given the position where I became the president, and automatically I became what we called khatib at that time. I found myself kind of like self-teaching myself about every topic that I wanted to kind of like present on Friday, and alhamdulillah, that kept me connected with my deen, which for somebody who came at the age of 19, I could have just found myself heading a different way. So alhamdulillah, the MSA was a good family environment that I was able to have. Um, and then I continued to grow while I was still a little bit distant from the masjids. And then, alhamdulillah, I stayed connected after graduating. I went back to college and I started teaching. I became the advisor to different MSAs. And so my involvement, alhamdulillah, has been very intense and very intimate, if I could use the term. And from that, I went through different things. I was able, alhamdulillah, to learn a lot of things. And then an imam from a masjid came to our event, and that was probably one of the best experiences, which allowed me to re-enter the realm of masjid and to be more connected with the community. It's not that I wasn't connected to the community, but I felt myself more connected to an MSA, and I still feel strongly about the MSAs. But I'm trying to say here, from that experience, I just wanted to share a few lessons and some advices with the students who are running different MSAs in different states, different cities, and I hope that will be beneficial to you. The first thing is, we know that the MSA has become, for many students, youngsters, the one place that they feel welcomed the way that they are. And that is great. That's how I felt. Again, as I mentioned earlier, that was really the one place that if I didn't become a member of the MSA, probably God knows where I would be now. That is great, and I really continue to believe that the MSA will continue to play that vital role that unfortunately some masjids fail to play. Having said that, I just wanted to also share from my experience, the reality that some of us, we might decide that we want to self-teach ourselves about the religion, the way of life that we want to follow. And that could be a little bit alarming, especially now. I mean, I'm talking about 2001 and 2002 when I, joined the MSA, and there wasn't a lot of information on the internet, and most of it was not as confusing as it is now. Having said that, you do have access to the internet now, and you do have access to a lot of information, which a lot of it is misleading. And I just wanted to warn that be careful. Unfortunately, I'm seeing more and more MSAs kind of creating their own identity, and it's almost depending on the board that the identity of the MSA is drafted for every year, or depending on how often the board changes. And that's very alarming, because our deen should not be defined by one or two board members, or three, or whatever the number is. It should be defined by our religion. It's called Muslim Student Association. Yes, we're not to teach Islam for every meeting that we have, but Islam should be the way of life that we conduct ourselves in, whether we're having a social event or a halaqah or whatever it might be. So just be careful. Even though you might not be having a strong relationship with a specific masjid, try to find an imam, a person who's well educated when it comes to Islam, to be your mentor. Just don't look for any advisor who might also bring their own agenda onto the the table and say, you know what, this is the way that we're going to conduct ourselves because this is the way that I see Islam should be, applied or implemented, whatever you want to look at it. So just be careful, because again, you might not be called a masjid, but you are becoming an entity that people go to even find their identity, even to shape their identity. So you have to take it seriously as a masjid is taken. I know it might sound to be a very strong comparison, but to a lot of people, from my experience, that's where they really identify the identity that they want to take on as Muslims, especially on campus. So just be careful. So make sure that you have mentors who are well educated, and who really know what they're doing. And then the MSA, unfortunately, we're seeing some MSAs being too religious, and then some other MSAs are just, your hangout club, just like any other student organization. So just be careful. You want to bring a balance. The three areas that I really feel the MSA should focus on, and I pray also messages would actually focus on, are three. The first one, of course, education. You want to be the one place that people come to and learn about their religion, and even for non-Muslims to come and learn about Islam. So education is one important area, and again, bring those who know about the religion to talk about the religion, to talk to Muslims, to talk to non-Muslims, and to answer questions. And then the second one is community service. And through community service, you have a lot of things that you could do. Because a lot of people, they're not just joining the MSA just to attend the halaqah that happens once a week or once every week, every 2 weeks or once a month. There are those who have a lot of energy, and if you don't use that energy positively, they might end up using it in other things. So just give them that platform where they could shine. They might not have a lot of Islamic knowledge. They might still trying to explore their identity, but at the same time, every person could volunteer. Every person could give back to the community, whether it's food drives, whether it's visiting senior homes, whether it's through interfaith collaboration. And again, a lot of people, when we say the term, or we talk about interfaith, they think it's bringing scholars to talk about religions. No, you could literally just reach out to other religious organizations and say, you know what, how about we work together? How about we collaborate and work together to serve the community? That is in itself, that's what I call interfaith in action. So please make sure that you have that community service. And of course, you have the social events. We are social creatures by nature. We like to socialize. We like to interact with others. We like to mingle with others. We like to get to know others. So make sure that you do have those social events. Again, make sure that they are within the Islamic teaching. You don't want to have social events that are like on the loose end where everything happens and there are no limits. No. And remember, I know that a lot of non-Muslims, they do come to our events, and sometimes we're like, well, we don't want to show them that we're too strict. Remember, they're coming, they know it's called a Muslim Student Association. If they're coming to learn about your culture, then you have to show them the Islamic culture. And what I mean by Islamic culture, it's not a one size fits all. You have Pakistanis, Arabs, Indians, Americans, they have their own culture, but a Muslim culture, meaning you take the best out of those cultures, the best practices, and you bring them to that event. Whether it's the food, whether it's spoken words, whatever it might be. And just make sure that they are within the Islamic teachings. Now, if a non-Muslim is coming to have fun, believe me, they have other organizations who can have even more fun, if you know what I mean. So you don't need to give them that fun that they're looking for. You could just simply say, this is who we are, this is what we do, and we're sorry that we cannot provide what you're looking for, and we're sure you could find it somewhere else. And if they really respect you, they will show that respect, and they will either stick around or they might just move on with life. So in summary, three things. You want, again, as I mentioned, the education part, and then you have the community service, and you have the social events. These are the three main elements that I find to be very important for any Muslim student association. And the most important element is, as people are not as involved when they are on campus with the masjids. They are going to be more involved with the MSA, so make sure that you have a mentor who knows about the religion and who most importantly also knows about the student life. And I pray that this will help, and I will try to put more videos in relation to the MSA and the MSA activities. Jazakumullahu khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.